This is the one with the quick insert collet with the button. And we got the 2953-20. This is a Gen 4 M18. Now, we're going to do this pretty quickly. We're not going to keep you guys here for very long. We've got the 3.5 stacked lithium from Flex. I'm going to tell you why I think this is the best battery on the market. Still under the weather, but we got to keep making content for you guys. So here we are. Now, we're going to be doing, we got some 2.5-inch just construction screws. And then we got some GRKs, and they are 3 1/8 inch long right here. So we're going to be looking at these two impacts, and we're going to kind of compare, you know, the size, the weight, the power, all that stuff. If you ask me, I think that Flex has the best power to weight size battery on the market right now, being the 3.5. For an impact and everyday tools, this was the best one from Milwaukee. This is the 3.0, and it's high output. So the difference with these amp hours, somebody asked me a question earlier, and they said, hey, I thought that amp hours was just the runtime. Now, that is true. Amp hours is usually considered the runtime, but what happens is when you have better cells for batteries, what's up, Marco? When you have better cells for batteries, being that these are 21700s and then your standard cells are 18650s, what happens is the cells allow the voltage to remain higher for longer. So you wind up with a higher average voltage under load. And what we've seen, because we've actually taken some of these batteries apart, hooked up leads and hooked up multimeters real time, and we've seen that voltage drop. When you pull the trigger on the Flex, you actually drop down to like 15, 16, 17 volts under load. So that's, absolutely what's happening with these power tools is that the voltage is dropping down under load. And then once you finish doing your task, the voltage goes right back up to 24 or 18 or whatever the nominal voltage is. So your better cells maintain a higher average nominal voltage to where that tool is able to perform that much better. It's not really that they're getting more amps out of it. It's that they're able to pull more, yeah, but really just the voltage is higher for the whole time you're using the tool. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. And that's another reason why, oh my goodness. That's another reason why you want to, when you're picking a power tool or a drill or whatever you're doing, if you've got a drill and let's say you're just doing fence work all day into soft wood, you could probably get away with the compact version of this, and the compact tool is going to last you just as long as this tool will. You're going to be saving the wear and tear on your body, and you might save a couple of bucks. But when these tools go into lock rotor, which is any motor that goes into lock rotor, even whenever you first pull the trigger on a tool, you're in lock rotor status. That's why a lot of your AC compressors, things like that, have that capacitor to ramp up the voltage. If you've ever got an AC outside and you're trying to give a little kickstart, I'm feeling better, but my voice is still stupid. So, yeah, and we got this going on. So hopefully this is helping the audio. I think it's going to be better. So the soft start capacitors ramp that voltage up, so you can actually take a screwdriver and spin the blade, and it will help that compressor start, not the compressor but the actual fan motor. It'll start right up. So that's kind of what's going on here. Is when you pull your trigger, you're in lock rotor, and when you're bogging that tool down, you hit that lock rotor amperage to where you're actually destroying your tool. So you're better off getting the drill that's suited for your task. So whenever you're picking out power tools, you want to think about what tool am I going to need for the task, because you might not need this powerful of a tool. This is a very powerful tool. It's very expensive, and it's the best pretty much on the market that you can get. You can probably get away with something a little bit cheaper depending on what you're doing. A professional that's using tools every day, that's cutting out holes and all that stuff, you might not notice it in the long run, in the short run, but in the long run, your tools are going to last a lot longer, at least until the next gen comes out, because you're going to want to buy the next gen anyway. So just something to think about. What we're going to be looking at is, does it really matter which one you get? Because DeWalt is out as far as I'm concerned. The 850, that's the TD 173 already won, and it's not even competing. All right. Out of the look of what the TD 173 is. Sorry, I don't know that one. The 845 and the 840 and the 850, they just can't hang. The stack lithium technology is here, so you get the smaller battery with the DeWalt's, which I really, really like. But the tools, and I've had a couple of people send me some chats between forums and DeWalt and stuff. What DeWalt is saying is that there's actually something wrong with the tool, and pretty much in these 845, sometimes when you pull the trigger, they don't do anything. So let's see if we can get this to do anything. I don't know if it's going to work or not. It's going to work tonight, but I've caught it on camera where it doesn't work. So, I really, really like DeWalt, but I'm no longer recommending it as long as they have this problem. I think the 840 and the 850 is where you want to be. I think the 850 is superior as far as longevity. I burnt up my 840 already. What's up, your boy Ram? Oh, Japanese only model, latest Makita. Nice. I do want to try that. Just remember to turn off the earbuds before you connect to the mic. Just remember to turn the earbuds off before you connect to the microphone. Yeah. And the 845, so you... Hey, Mark, that 845 we gave you was in a puddle of water. And it was trash. Like it got rained on. It was in one of those tubs. I'm surprised it's still going, dude. That's awesome. But yeah, this one takes 2 times to start it anyway. So it's all the 845s. I'm looking at the mid torque flex 1/2 inch. My buddy will be getting a high torque Milwaukee. So that's just our ability to handle what comes along. Yeah. I've got the mid torque from Joshua Wilson over there, man. It's in a bag, and I'm afraid to open it because I don't know if I can breathe or not next to it. But it's a really, really nice tool. Flex says I've come here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum. Yeah. Let's check it out. So this is what no other tool channel really talks about, and that is that they're getting more compact here, which is cool. But what happens is when you get compact here and you put in a standard bit, not the shortest one, just a standard bit here, right? And then you take your battery and you put it in here. This is level here, and that's a problem for me. So to illustrate that, I'm going to take a piece of sheetrock here so you can see. And you can see you're pretty much level there. So if you're in a corner or something, your battery is going to be hitting. See if I can get this corner shot. There you go. So if you're in a corner or something, you're trying to get your bit into the corner right there. You can see how the battery is already kind of off of the mark there. So you need a longer extension starting here to be able to drive your fastener in. So it's nice that they're making these more compact, but it also kind of defeats the purpose when you got a big battery. which is why I actually think, hang on. I think I put it back over here. Hang on a second. I actually think you're better off with the original battery here. This is the 2.0. And you can see it's a lot shorter. So it kind of alleviates the problem of being so damn long. So everyone's got us tricked into thinking you need this battery, but you can see how much more space you're getting with the original design. Soul's garage is like negative a bajillion degrees, and he's going to sit this one out. It'll take him a long time to heat up his garage and all that. But I really think we need to go back to smaller batteries, and that's one reason why I was really upset to see Milwaukee come out with their larger battery for the stacked, because the point in stacked is going to be lighter. So I was really excited for something like the 3.5, but it never happened. So we're going to be running the 6 on this impact to give it the best chance that it's got. But if you ask me in the field, I would not be using this 6 every day. I think it's too bulky. I think it's too expensive a battery to be banging around every day. I think it's too bulky. It takes up too much space. And it's not appreciated to have this size clanging around on the side of your hip every day. It's no good. So what we're going to show you is that all these batteries and everything, they can do this task. And this is pretty much what you're going to use an impact for. More importantly, what no other tool channel really talks about is how much this will drive into wood before the impact actually starts. Because, particularly Tools with Souls is saying that the drill is a better tool to be driving fasteners. And I would agree with that. But if this thing drives like a drill and never impacts, then you've got the RPM, you've got the ergonomics, you've got the compactness, and you've still got all the power you need in a pinch. And if your screw is, at risk of getting cammed out, you're not having to switch tools. So we're going to look at when does this thing actually start impacting driving regular screws in here. Secret time is I have a 4.4 battery this year. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. So we'll take the 6 fully charged right there. 2.5 inch. You really don't need anything bigger. 3-inch screws. Here's another thing, right? If you're driving this stuff, you don't know what you're doing, because one, nails are for structure. Nails allow racking. They don't just snap. Like, you can take a screw here, right here, and you can probably just snap this like that. They're fairly brittle. So the biggest fastener you're going to be driving is probably a 2.5 inch deck screw, just to get the deck board into whatever you're trying to hold it to. Maybe 3-inch, and an impact is perfectly fine for that. And we're going to look to see when this thing actually starts impacting. So let's check it out. We're not really looking at as much speed as we are when does this thing actually start impacting. Here we go. So it just started to impact as it hit the wood, which is really efficient. We're gonna do it again. So you're not even really impacting until your task is done. And that's ideal. That's what you want. You've got the RPMs of your impact. You've got all the fail safes for if you do need an impact, and you maintain where the tool isn't in lock rotor. So impacts don't go into lock rotor because they've got a constant slipping mechanism where it just beats that anvil. But they are in somewhat of a higher current draw during that process because they are meeting resistance. Nails take more shear force than screws. Yeah, exactly. So what I was saying before I freaking ADHD'd was the biggest screw you're going to be using is maybe a 2.5. And then bigger than that, you should be using like carriage bolts. You should be drilling structural members through and through, and then using a bolt and a nut and sandwiching that stuff together. You're not really using these giant lags to, hold much. Let me check out with the chat. What about structural screws? How much shear force do they have compared to nails? Well, they have quite a bit more. And we know that just because of all the different testing we're doing. But I can try to break one here in a second for you. All right, so this didn't start impacting until the screw is all the way set, which is great. Let's just look at the DeWalt. We're just going to take a quick peek at it because I'm kind of curious too. Okay. Here goes the DeWalt. About the same. I think the Milwaukee put it just a little bit lower, but it's still about the same. So it impacted a couple of times before it set. It doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're using the same tool and the same battery for every day, this will add up where you're not having to charge your battery for 3 or 4 more days than the other brand just because you're not hitting that impact. So just something to think about when you're doing the same monotonous task and it's not that difficult to do. You could use any tool to do it, and you're using something that's not impacting, even though it's an impact. You're just driving it and not having impact. Your battery is going to last longer. Your anvil's not going to wear out as much. If you're going for the long game, you want to get something that's not going to impact as much. Let's see what the Flex has. That's a 6. We're not going to put a 6 on. Noticeably heavier too. I'd like to give a shout out to my niece, Brooklyn. She's here with me. What's up, Brooklyn? Thanks for being here. Okay, let's see when it's going to impact. See this one. It's really close to the Milwaukee. I think that it actually drives it a little bit deeper before the impact. I don't think it really matters that much. it's about the same, but the point is that all these screws for all these top tier tools were flush before the impact started. And a lot of channels miss out on that because you want something that's going to impact less for better life of the tool, um, less noise, things like that. One exception here that I will say, this surge is it's actually it's not as heavy as a flex, but it's not light. Okay, this is not a light 12-volt impact, and it does impact sooner. So I'd like to just show you that. It even impacts zipping them out, so you know it's going to impact a lot more. So what we know about the impact now is that you're going to get less battery life the more impacts. But it is a really, really sweet, smooth tool to use. So just keep that in mind. Not only are you, getting a heavier tool, but you're also going to get less battery life, and it's not because of it is because of a different motor. But to break it down, the reason why is because it's impacting more and it's having to do more work. So this is the Surge. It's only got 2 bars. I'll put a bigger battery in it. We're going to put the 2.5 in it, which is the high output. For me, I think it's completely pointless to put the larger battery in these 12-volt tools. Is it going to stay? It won't even stay because it's so freaking heavy. It's not going to stay. By the time you take this battery and put on this tool for almost the same amount of weight, for less battery life, for more wear and tear on the tool, and just as bulky, you're really not that much smaller. This is even longer, and you can kind of see what you're getting. So I never understand why people want to see a 12-volt tool with the larger battery on it, because it's pointless. So we're going to be doing the smart thing and rocking the smaller battery. But you can see how it impacts more. But it can still get the job done. So all these tools can get it all done. The question is really just, what do you want? A lot of people say, well, 24 volts isn't fair because you're going against an 18-volt tool. But if you ask me, they're in the same space. So they're the same footprint. They're just as heavy as each other. This is actually a little bit heavier because it's a 6 versus the 315. But the Flex Steel might be a little bit more heavy. They're fairly bulky, right? They're the same footprint, used for the same task. They're able to do the same amount of work. They're really close to each other. So I'm going to compare these to each other all day. And for me, at the end of the day, the reason why this wins every time is because of the Flex one-hand reset, which is just a beast. The quick insert feed on the saw blades is just too good not to talk about. You can abuse it. You can twist up the blades. You can use it as a pry bar. You can do all that stuff. You pop the blade out, pop the blade in, and it's a done deal. It's so good. I like the M12 line because they have specialty tools. Romex tape is my favorite. I got the new M12 rotary tool too. Still in the box. Nice. Some 12-volt Bosch, hardly ever used besides cabinet days. Yeah, the flex one hand recep's freaking awesome. I do like the M12 over the second compact 18-volt. It's too big for tools. Yep. I understand things like Romex say, but rely on M12 impact or drill. It's just the size. So if you are an electrician or whatever you're doing, HVAC, and this is your tool bag that you're going to carry, let me get some tools. By the time we get a heavy pair of clines, we get a couple of different screwdrivers. You get a level. You get some channel locks. You get a razor knife. A couple of bits. All this stuff adds up every day. So this is barely big enough to fit in a standard pouch. And that's without a bit on it. So you can't really carry anything on this ready to go. That's kind of your best bet right there. You can take the battery off. But the battery's still not even on it. Then you can clip it, you can hang it. All this stuff adds up in weight really quickly. So for this, it just fits that much better. Really anywhere. And then for the most part, the 12-volt tools, as we just showed you, can do everything the 18s can. So, you know, until they start making the smaller 18 tools, that's why I switched to DeWalt for so long. Because the tools are so small and the battery's so small, but DeWalt doesn't make a reliable impact right now. Let's see if I can find that little battery. It's around the corner over there. But this is nice because it fits, you know, very similar to the M12 in there. And this is what I was recommending to people. If they said, hey, should I go 12? Should I go 18? What should I do? I said, hey, the 20-volt DeWalt is really good because, you know, you get the smaller battery and you got the power if you need it. But frankly, man, I'm tired of pulling the trigger twice on all my DeWalts to get them to go. And the 840 didn't last very long. The 850 was so far the best, and it was a little bit wider. So maybe the 850. I might buy the 850 again. I do like the 850. Ooh, the 20-volt narrow crown stapler, nice. Ha! Ryobi Craftsman Makita and 12-volt tools that are maintained in the home. There you go. I've crawled all over roofs and up and down ladders with impacts and drills. But if you have to carry 2 or 3 batteries, you're not saving any weight. That's a good point. That's one reason why you want to, you know, where is it? Got too many batteries on the table. That's why for me, this 3.0 is just a little bit less powerful than the 6. So if this lasts you till lunch and you got 2 of these, I'd rather carry this all day than 1 of these and then this still be, you know, 1/3 left battery charge after the end of the day. Just depends on what you're doing. Every electrician seen in field use the biggest, strongest cordless tool, especially when putting covers on. Yeah, man. Sometimes I'll go to inspections. What about the flex? Flex is rubberized. Stay on most metal roofs and other brands rubberized too. Yeah, the Milwaukee has rubber here and rubber there. But yeah, the Flex is very rubberized all over it. And these things actually, it seems like I've had like some pretty deep gouges in my rubber here when this thing falls. They do a really good job on protecting the tool. All the legendary. That's awesome. When doing steel roofs, always use 2 amp hour batteries. Usually still had a charge at lunch and would switch out. Yeah, exactly. You don't need to be carrying all these big batteries. These batteries, not these. These batteries are for like their new threader, their chainsaws, the whatever it is. It's something you're already going to be using with 2 hands. So the weight doesn't matter. You're already expected to have 2 hands. It's kind of like when they're making the bandsaw, right? You've got people that are just making these tools, but they're not really thinking about the contractor and how they're going to be using the tool. They're just making the tool. So they're making this bandsaw with a 2.5-inch cut capacity. When you used to get an 1.25-inch cut capacity for their smallest little bandsaws, they used to make this really small bandsaw from Milwaukee. That was awesome. You could almost take it on a ladder with you, and it would cut up to 1.25 inch, 1 5/8 strut, and 1.25 pipe. And then anything after 1.25, you are using a bigger bender that uses a cord. You're using, a chain vise. You're using a bigger bandsaw. All your tools kind of change. So now the smallest bandsaw you can buy is, 1/3 larger, and it's just not appreciated. We don't need all these bigger tools. We need more compact tools that are just more efficient. Like, just stop making everything bigger and changing it. Just make it more efficient. That's what they should do. All right, let's look at the Flex. Oh no, hang on. Where'd I put it? That's not good because I only have one T30. We got too much stuff on the table. Hang on. Here it is. Okay. Next thing with flex, you can do this. Short bit in, pop it in. If you're trying to fight this bit and this collet at the same time, sometimes you gotta stop. You gotta hold this piece like this, and you can pull it out. I really like the quick, the quick release button, because you can just get that with one hand. So when you break bits off and stuff, especially if you buy at Harbor Freight, I'm curious what the message says. We're gonna leave it hidden, Jamie. I'd rather have a 21-year-old than a 30 is what I always say. Yeah, we're gonna leave it hidden. YouTube wants to hide it. We're just gonna leave it hidden. Screw YouTube though. Okay. So we're gonna take this 3 1/8, I think it is. Yeah, 3 1/8. Let's see when it impacts. So I bumped it a couple more times, but it pretty much impacted right about here. Right about there is when it started impacting. So we'll leave that. I showed this on video, but I didn't show it real time because I can't hold everything and do everything at the same time. This is the DeWalt, and I want to show you the standoff real time on this thing because it's pretty decent. That's 13'3". Which is plenty. 10 foot's great. 13'3" is insane. And then the magnet, this piece here just slides right off. You can push this here with your thumb, like this. You can pop it off. Hang on. You just set it there like this. It's still not on yet. It's still loose. You just set that there like this. You get that piece right there. And you got to push down like this. And it clips on there. I like these tape measures. We got what is that? 5/8. 5/8 of an inch out. Let's see what the Milwaukee's got. With the forge, of course. Just push that right there. Pull the bit out. Put this in here. It's going to quick insert. Does the flex retain? I guess the flex doesn't retain either. It's good to know. Okay, here we go. There we go. It started impacting way before. Like way before. I'm going to do it again. Here we go. Almost immediately. Let me check the flex. Might be denser wood down here. Nope. Not denser wood. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to put the flex closer to the knot. Here we go. That's where it starts impacting. Let's check the Milwaukee. Immediately impacts. So the flex has more raw driving energy. So it's going to be quieter. It's going to be smoother. And it just has more power on the drive. And I don't know. Those results don't lie. I do like that it doesn't impact until the screw is almost seated. If you're doing multiple drives, it's just gonna be that much smoother. It's like a drill. It's pretty much like a drill. So there you go. That's the flex versus the Milwaukee. The Milwaukee impacts sooner. It could be programmed that way, but it just impacts sooner. I kind of want to try it. I kind of want to try it going this way. Let's go this way and just check again. When you're right here. Here we go. Here goes the flex. Well, there you go. And we went through 2 holes. Purposely. So the flex just has more raw driving power. That's your biggest difference. If you said what's the biggest difference on this, that's your answer. The flex acts more like a drill before it starts impacting. It just drives. So there you go. I think the flex does have more power. I think Milwaukee has their timing down better. What's the weight difference? Man, I wish I had a scale. I'm still not fully equipped yet. This is a 3.5. This is a 6. So we gave flex the disadvantage not using a 6 or a 10 like we had. And we gave Milwaukee the advantage on using a 6 to give it every chance possible, because people will cry that they're different voltages, even though they're almost the same size tool. So the weight without the battery, I'd probably have to look it up online, to be honest. The Milwaukee is lighter in pretty much every scenario. But for me, if you're using an 18-volt tool, you're doing a bigger task anyway. So it's not necessarily that big of a negative to be holding something a little bit heavier when you're going to get that much more efficiency, because the flex batteries are very efficient. They charge very quickly. I think they got the better warranty at this point, honestly. Flex has a lot of problems with the leaking in their batteries, and they just they're returning stuff and warranting stuff out like crazy. So they're trying to hang on to the reputation for sure. But the stack lithium is where it's at with the Flex. Anyway, they're pulling everything off of their shelves. They're replacing it with stack lithium. And yeah, the Rapid Flex charger's fast. Yeah, the battery and tool, pretty heavy stuff. But you know, if you're doing anything smaller than this, 12 volts all day for an HVAC tech or an electrician or anything like that, plumber, most of your stuff is pre-threaded. So you're just screwing machine threaded screws into holes, or you're running really short self-tappers into metal studs. So you don't need like a ton of torque. Yeah, yeah. I'd agree with that. Milwaukee does have the edge for the tools. The Flex Recip alone kind of has me sold. Um, if I was to go back into construction, honestly, I would be okay with all Milwaukee except for the Flex one hand recip. Those stacks are so much lighter and smaller than the Celtec. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Okay, well, I'm gonna end it here. Appreciate all the support. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below about, you know, how soon the Milwaukee impacts versus the Flex. And that's just one comparison that I don't think any other tool channels really talked about. Oh, Joshua Wilson had a request. Hang on, we're gonna try and snap one of these with some Kleins. I appreciate it. Appreciate that. Let's put it in the knot. Honestly, I would say that's fairly easy. I expected it to be a lot harder. I'm kind of upset how easy that was. Ryobi tools are horrible trash. What's up, Shaga? Shaga with the 3-month milestone super chat. Let's not give it all we got. Let's just kind of play with it a little bit. We snapped that thing like a pixie stick. Let me really see what it takes to break it. Not very much. I think they're stronger than the they're definitely stronger than these guys. This is something you can't do with other tools. You can't just do this. You have to stop what you're doing and pull this and pull this. So that move right there cannot be done with any other brand that smoothly. Not very easily. Let's try it. If you go really fast, you can pop it out. It's just, man, I love this button, dude. I wish DeWalt would bring it back. It's so easy, and if the bit is hot, you can just drop it. If it's heavy. If it's heavy, you can just drop it. This one will drop. All right, what's it take? Not very much. Yeah. Oh, man. Shaka is famous. Yeah, he is. Premature impact is never good. All right, we're out of here. Might stream some zombies. I don't know. We're going to see what the kids are doing, see what the wife's doing. Appreciate all the support. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.